With heavy winds, severe rain, and dangerous flooding, Tropical Storm Erika is wreaking havoc across the Caribbean.
20 people died on the Caribbean island of Dominica, the worst affected by the storm.
The violent storm washed out roads and destroyed homes on the island of Dominica.
The Prime Minister is saying in his televised event, Natalie, that their island had been set back 20 years due to the destruction caused by Tropical Storm Erika.
In North Korea, 40 people lost their lives during this flash flood that hit the city of Regine. More than 11,000 people were forced from their homes. 250 millimeters of rain fell over the weekend, with state media also reporting more than half of that fell in just 3 hours on Saturday. The country said it was suffering from its worst drought in a century.
You know, it's not very often you see a hurricane forming this far east in the Atlantic. Yes, this is Cape Verde season, but when we talk about Cape Verde season, we're talking about waves of low pressure coming off the west coast of Africa, right? And then they eventually will turn into something. Well, this is actually a hurricane.
This is a history maker. Fred has formed as a hurricane as far east as you can get in the Atlantic. We actually have hurricane warnings for the Cape Verde Islands, which has never happened in recorded history.
It's a storm like we've never seen before. For the first time on record, 3 major hurricanes form in the Pacific all at once. Some experts link the trio of hurricanes to this year's El Niño pattern. El Niño, which occurs in the Pacific Ocean's tropical region, is a weather system that consists of warmer than normal water temperatures. For 2015, El Niño is expected to be its strongest ever on record.
Mira cuántos coches está arrastrando todo. Ya se cayó la barra.
Cubiertos con una gruesa capa de granizo, amanecieron más de un centenar de casas en Villa de las Manzanas en Coacalco, en donde alcanzó hasta 1 metro de altura, luego de que se registrara una tromba en el valle.
Ten months ago, the picturesque Russian city of Solikamsk had a bit of a hole. Now they've got a much bigger problem, 120 metres of it to be precise. The sinkhole's grown to claim a few unoccupied holiday homes and is reaching towards the nearby forest. The question is, in another 10 months, just how big will this hole be?
It looks like something out of a world-ending disaster movie. But this was the scene on the water around Naples in Italy on Saturday, as the area was pummeled by hailstones the size of ping pong balls. The hailstones, which were well over 5 centimetres in diameter, came hurtling out of the sky, smashing windows, roof tiles and car windshields, as well as leaving several people and animals injured.
Now Thailand and a mystery fireball spotted in the sky. Check this out. Dashcam video captured the bright flash that appeared to be falling toward the ground, leaving a white trail of smoke behind.
In Andaluca's Almeria province, flash floods caused road closures and swept away vehicles. Home videos captured fast torrents of water crashing through streets in the town of Adra, damaging dozens of shops, homes, and hundreds of cars.
A cyclone has swept across 3 regions in southern Italy, flooding villages and roads. Amateur video showed half-submerged cars on the outskirts of Taormina in Sicily. The bad weather is set to continue over the coming days.
A heavy sandstorm has hit many parts of the Middle East, leaving much of Jordan, Lebanon, Israel and Cyprus in clouds of dust. At least 8 people have died as a result of the storm. Hundreds more have been hospitalized with breathing issues.
Even disrupted fighting and airstrikes in Syria.
Catastrophic floodwaters are rising this morning in Japan after days of heavy rain. People are literally crying for help and stranded on top of the cars and the homes. The force was strong enough to rip buildings from their foundations.
Some called from rooftops for help as the water rose, and as rescuers and Japanese military helicopters pulled dozens to safety. Entire homes were surrounded or even carried away as Jiasu City was inundated with floodwater.
24-hour rainfall record, over 260 millimeters there. There were several records that were broken, and word now that in Fukushima Prefecture, in the western part where you get some of the mountains, we have as many as 833 people are cut off because of the landslides.
At least 3 people have died and over 22 are still missing. And more than 100,000 people have been evacuated. The heaviest rain in decades pounded the country in the wake of Typhoon Itao, which smashed through Japan earlier this week.
We begin in Saudi Arabia, where an investigation is underway after a crane collapsed on the Grand Mosque in Mecca, killing at least 107 people. More than 200 were injured when the crane came down during a storm around 5:30 p.m. local time on Friday. The tragedy struck just days before the Hajj, which is the annual pilgrimage which draws millions of visitors to the mosque.
Witnesses say that if a covered walkway had not broken the crane's collapse, more people could have died or been injured. Mecca was hit by strong rain and winds just before the accident.
Local time, roughly about 5 p.m. Remember, 5:23 was the time the crane collapsed. Then 2 hours later, the temperature dropped over 15 degrees Celsius.
Researchers say California has not been this dry in 500 years.
In California, more than 11,000 firefighters are chopping, digging, and dumping water trying to stay ahead of 12 major fires. Hot winds and drought-fueled brush sparked the Butte Fire, burning east of Sacramento. 10,000 people have been evacuated and 135 homes destroyed.
Mount Aso, a volcano located on Japan's southernmost island of Kyushu, has erupted.
It sent plumes 2,000 meters into the air.
The agency is calling for caution against falling volcanic rocks and pyroclastic flows in areas within about 2 kilometers of the crater.
The frightening images tonight out of Utah, the raging waters, you can see how fast moving they are. 2 cars, families inside both of them, suddenly overwhelmed by the floods.
Now, at least 20 people confirmed dead.
The National Weather Service calls Monday's disaster a 100-year event.
Thailand, which has declared the Pattaya in Chonburi province, one of Asia's most popular beaches, a disaster zone because of overnight flooding caused by tropical storm Vamco. The storm has ravaged various areas of Thailand with heavy downpours and rising sea levels. Thai media reported Thursday that 4 other southeastern provinces are also considered disaster zones.
It's a line here. Oh my gosh, it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the sky. Check this out.
Strange is happening in the skies above Costa Rica. Look at this on your screen right now. What is that? An iridescent, multicolored cloud is leaving people very confused. Pictures and video of this cloud has flooded social media, with many saying it's the sign of the end of the times. Others say it's a sign of God. Experts say there is no need to panic. They explain the cloud is caused by a rare weather phenomenon called cloud iridescence.
This is an earthquake.
Bueno, se está moviendo muy fuerte.
¡Puta madre!
We want to get you caught up on some other news very rapidly. We're following a developing story in South America where a tsunami warning has now been issued after a massive earthquake, an 8.3 magnitude quake that hit off the coast of northern Chile. The quake struck at a depth of 5.2 miles, and the U.S. Geological Survey says hazardous tsunami waves from the quake are possible.
The earthquake sirens blared and the cities shook. The 8.3 quake shattering the Chilean night, killing at least 11 and sending a 15-foot tsunami into two coastal cities in the South American nation. This orderly stream of humanity fleeing that surge of water, carrying away cars and boats. 1 million people evacuated.
The epicenter was about 280 kilometers north of the capital. It's the biggest to strike Chile since 2010. Less than an hour later, there were several aftershocks.
All affected areas have been declared as disaster zones by Chilean President Michelle Bachelet.
A tsunami alert was announced for Peru and Hawaii, but as reports of 4-meter waves came in, that alert has been extended to the whole of the South Pacific region.
The inferno continues to rage. In its path now, more brush and trees, less homes. But still, the embers leap from treetop to treetop, advancing like dominoes. Firefighters taking advantage of the cool weather and sporadic rain to get more control of the valley fire. This is just one of a dozen fires burning in California.
This wildfire, which consumes the Californian earthland, is now deadly. The fire has been ranked as the most destructive to hit the West Coast this year.
The Valley and Butte fires now cover around 216 square miles.
About 1,000 homes and buildings have been destroyed so far in the two most destructive fires burning in the state.
And still in Mexico, the volcano of Colima erupted again on Friday morning. Wow, the ashes and smoke have reached 2 kilometers into the air. It has been showing renewed activity over the last 2 months, blanketing nearby villages with ash.
The Volcanology and Geological Disaster Mitigation Agency has recorded 5 minor eruptions and a large volume of ash. The volcano is currently at its highest alert status, indicating a major eruption could be imminent. A column of smoke is up to 3,000 meters high, and ash rain has fallen on the tourist town of Brastagi.
Here's a weather statistic that is probably going to blow your mind.
10 years ago today, as Rita was making landfall, and you're looking at those images now, we had 10 hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin, and all of them were hurricanes that were west of 55 degrees longitude. You want to compare that to today? All right, let's go back to 2005 right now. You remember that year. It was absolutely insane for tropical systems. 31 systems, 27 named storms, and 15 hurricanes. And typically, for this point in the year, late September, we would be coming down off of the peak. But think about the fact that we have had zero since 1914, more than a century, no hurricanes in the Western Atlantic, again, west of 55 degrees longitude. That is zero noted by this late in the year. Wow.
You are worthy of praise, and my heart will sing how great is our God.
You have put a show in the heavens just for us. We are humbled to know, Lord God Almighty, that you are telling us a story today. You are telling us tonight a prophetic message. You are telling us what is written in the prophet Joel.
It's beautiful.
You didn't need cable or an internet connection to see it, yet the ratings for this show were huge.
It's just coming out behind the clouds. It's amazing.
Millions around the globe peering skyward to catch a glimpse of the super blood moon.
The first time since 1982 that a supermoon coincided with a total lunar eclipse. And if you missed it, well, you won't see another one until 2033.
While some feared it was a sign of the world's end, maybe it just brought the world a little closer, all of us united beneath one super moon.
A sinkhole the size of a football field has swallowed campers and tents at a popular Queensland campsite. Around 140 people had to be evacuated from the popular site near Queensland's Rainbow Beach. Police and emergency crews were on site quickly, helping those in the immediate vicinity to evacuate. While some unfortunate campers lost their vehicles, others managed to escape to safety just in time. A super typhoon has hit Taiwan, killing 2 people and injuring hundreds. Typhoon Dujuan caused major damage as it made landfall, sweeping the island with torrential rain and high winds. About 1.8 million homes were left without power, vehicles overturned and trees uprooted in its wake. The storm brought gusts of up to 141 miles per hour.
The monster typhoon made landfall in Putian at around 8:50 a.m. Tuesday, with heavy rains and winds of up to 33 meters per second.
And as millions keep a close eye on Joaquin, another big and unrelated system is already dumping torrential rain up and down the eastern seaboard, triggering flash floods from the south all the way up through New England, the first of a 1-2 punch hitting hard right now. Have a look at the rain in Maine. Cars up to their gas caps. A storm system is whipping up scenes just like this, all the way from Florida to New England.
In Maine, stranded drivers. One abandoning his car for higher ground. Other vehicles bathed to the hood. A daycare forced to close. Classes canceled. 9,000 without power. By 8 a.m., 3 to 4 inches of rain had fallen. 3 to 4 times as much water the drought-stricken area has seen all month, triggering flash flooding through streets and in basements. By this afternoon, totals topped half a foot. A Rhode Island resident captured the pounding there. The drenching, region-wide, a massive storm system moving through the mid-Atlantic to the northeast into New England. In Frederick, Maryland, a collapsed roof at a construction company, no one hurt. Visible beach erosion in the Carolinas where locals sandbagged. Virginia was especially hard hit on Tuesday. Rivers quickly swelling, firefighters making door-to-door safety checks